Thank you. Thank you very much, and good evening, and welcome to the show. It would appear for some reason or other that my waistcoat attracts a tremendous amount of comment. You're always writing in and asking me, why is it always wrinkled? Very simple, because underneath it, my stomach is all... You know, the lovely thing about show business, actually, it gives you a chance to get around the world. I spend a lot of time in my life traveling around the world. I get to such exciting places like Australia. Very well-adjusted Australians. I suppose the most balanced people in the world, the Australians. They've got a chip on each shoulder.
I love the way they talk. They talk like that. Hey, come on, Brez. You all right, Marty?
Two Australians.
Well, we got one in, have I? How you going out there?
Yeah, well, your dollar's nearly as bad as our pound, so don't laugh. Now, they're very, very male, the Australians. They like to see them as big bronze fellas. And two of them talking, and one says,
Hey, Brez. He said, what's that, Barry? He said, what would you do if you found a fella in bed with your wife? He said, well, I'd kick his dog and break his white stick.
And we're coming up to Christmas. As you're all aware, Christmas is not a Jewish festival. Well, depends how you look at that, I suppose. You get the three children talking, a little Catholic child, a Protestant child, and a Jewish child talking about Christmas. I said a little Catholic child, what do you do on Christmas Day? He said, I get up and I go down and I look at the Christmas tree and I look at all the parcels that are all on the Christmas tree and all the parcels and all the toys that are all wrapped up and the toys that my brother and myself are going to, and then we go to Mass and then we come back and then my daddy says you're going to open up your toys and we tear open the parcels and we get the toys out and my brother gets his toys and I look at his toys and he looks at my toys and we go out in the street and all the other kids, they've all got toys and we're all showing each other toys. I said, a little Protestant boy, he said, what do you do? He said, I get up in the morning and my daddy showed me and he said, there's all the toys and then we go off to church and we thank Jesus for Christmas and then we come back and then I open up the parcels and my sister opens and there's all the toys and we've all got toys and I go around to your house and I show you the toys and we've got all the toys. And I turned to the little Jewish boy and I said, what do you do at Christmas? He said, we don't believe in Christmas. Christmas Day, my daddy and I get up and we get into the Mercedes and we go down... And we go down to our toy factory and we look at all the empty shelves. And then we sing three choruses of Don't We Have a Good Friend in Jesus, and then we go to Menorca. I was listening to a couple of Indian fellas on a bus one day. They were chatting. They were going, no. No, you don't really understand. No, you did not spell it W-O-O-M-B-E. It is W-H-O-O-M. And the other was saying, no. You do not honestly know that it is W-H. I think it is W-O-O. W-O-O-M-B. Womb. And the other was saying, not W-O-O. It is W-H. Womb. And I said, excuse me, gentlemen, I don't wish to interfere, but I do know that English is not your first language, and the correct spelling is neither W-H or W-O. Womb is spelled W-O-M-B. And this fellow looked at me and said, excuse me, kind sir, with all due respect, I doubt very much whether you were ever seen an Indian elephant, let alone heard one break wind. We have in Ireland what we call the little people, leprechauns, fairies, elves, whatever you call them. A story about a fellow walking along the beach and then scuffling through the sand, he kicks what appears to be just the bottom of an old bottle. And as he kicks it, he disturbs all the sand around. It's a very ancient old bottle. He pulls it out of the sand and he looks at it. And there's a small piece of clear glass in it. And he looks in, and inside there, there's a leprechaun. And the leprechaun says, let me out. Let me out. The wicked witch locked me in here 3,000 years ago. And I've been in here ever since. And I always said over the first 1,000 years I was in here that the first fella to let me out of here, I'd give him anything. And then I sat in here for another 1,000 years. And I thought the first fella to let me out of here, I'll cut his legs off. And then I sat here for the 3,000 year. And I said I would grant the man that let me out 3 wishes. Anything he wanted. So the fellow says, all right, I'll let you out. Out comes the little leprechaun. And he says, what do you want for your 3 wishes? What do you want for your first wish? And the fellow says, well, it's hot. It's a hot day. I've been walking on the beach for a long time. Give us a large bottle of Guinness. And boom, there it is. And he starts to drink it. And it's beautiful. Cold. Suckling. And the leprechaun says, what do you want for your other 2 wishes? He said, just wait a second. He said, don't hurry me. You've been in that bottle for 3,000 years. He says, just let me taste this. Let me sample it. Let me enjoy it. And the leprechaun says, you can keep on drinking that forever. Because as soon as you finish drinking it, it fills up again. It's one of them bottles. And the fellow said, I don't believe you. He said, well, try it. He goes, totally empty. And he goes, fills up again. He goes, fills up. And he says, be good. And I've got 2 more wishes. He said, yes. He said, I'll have 2 more of these. I think on that note, I might just show you some sketches. Here they come. Nope. Shut the gate!
Hello. Welcome to Do It Yourself with Martin in the afternoon. Now, last week I showed
Hello?
what you could do.
Is that Reliable Television Rentals? Yeah, it's about my television set. The aerial's fallen down and it's on the blink. Well, I'd like you to come around and put the aerial back up again. Friday? Well, that's ridiculous. But it'll only take a couple of minutes. Oh, I'll tell you what. Forget it. Forget about it. I'll do it myself.
How many mines have you laid, Sergeant?
563, sir.
Very good, very good. I'd like to see somebody try to get through that lot, eh?
Oh, yes, sir.
What? Well, put the finishing touches to the... Right, I think we'll pop off and have a cup of tea, eh?
That's my dear, sir. Thank you very much.
Oh! Yes! There we are. What's this? It's a ticket, because you parked over here too long. Ticket!
You might remember during the last show I was talking about the English language and how very strange it is. It's all right for us because we basically understand it, but what about foreigners? I mean, just trying to say hello to a German is like starting a quiz game.
How are you? How am I what?
Well, how do you do?
How do I do?
Well, what I mean is, how do you find yourself?
I get out of bed every morning and there I am.
I mean, how do you feel? How are you feeling yourself?
That is a very personal question which I refuse to answer.
Extremely odd language, because there are so many words which sound alike but which have totally different meanings, like one person, or I won the game. I was listening to a race horse owner talking the other day, and he was talking about his horses, and it sounded like a telephone number. That 1-1, and that 1-1-1-2, and that 1-1-2, and that 1-1-2-2. You get words like you, the tree, you, the sheep, you the person. Was that you I saw sitting under the yew, looking at the yew? Were you looking at the yew, or was the yew looking at you? Why don't you say, what were you doing under the sheep, looking at the tree? Various words are pronounced differently throughout the world. I was having a kind of altercation with an American regarding the word schedule. And he said to me, the word is not schedule, it's schedule. S-C-H as sk, not sh. And I said, well, no, I don't think so. I think it's schedule. Schedule, that's the way the word is pronounced. He said, no, schedule. Schedule, S-C-H. When your son gets up in the morning, he doesn't put on his shul cap. Get his shul satchel and go off to shul, unless he's Jewish. S-C-H, sk, not sh. And I said, well, as far as I'm concerned, you're talking a lot of old skit. And names actually are incredible in England. I mean, you get a name like Cholmondeley. Not pronounced Cholmondeley. Chumley. So I suppose when you pronounce bottomly, you've got to be very careful. You've got the two businessmen called Sidebottom and Ball. And they're both on a tour of Europe, and they agreed to meet in Rome. Mr. Sidebottom books into the hotel, and 2 days later, Mr. Ball arrives. And he said, I'd like to speak to Mr. Sidebottom, please. And the first says, Mr. Sidebottom. We have no Mr. Sidebottom here. He said, well, would you kindly look through your register, please? He said, Sidebottom. Ah, we have a Mr. Sidebottom. Is it really? Well, in that case, would you tell him that Mr. Testacular is here to see him? They say one of the nice things about life is that you never know what it really has in store for you, which is great if it actually happens to be one of your days. But if it's not your day, watch out.
Your curtain bag, sir. May I have your shoes, sir? His lordship doesn't allow dirty shoes inside the road. It messes up the fitted carpet. One other thing, sir. His lordship only picks up hitchhikers who are wearing evening dress. Oh, I'm afraid I haven't got one. No need to worry, sir. His lordship always carries a spare suit inside the road for that express purpose. If I could just have your clothes, I'll go and get it. There we are. Thank you, sir. Hey! Just a minute! Hey, wait for me!
Right. Well, so far we've got speeding, dangerous driving, failure to stop at a traffic light, failure to stop when asked to do so by a police officer, and driving without due care and attention. Now, let's have a look at the car.
Oh, say that.
Now, gentlemen, is it your intention to go through with this affair?
Yes, it is.
I see. Well, you force me to the opinion that your behavior is totally grotesque. Do you realize what a spectacle you're making of yourself? Standing here, half-dressed, 5 o'clock in the morning, pathetic little pistol in your hand. These are the actions of cretins, buffoons, and idiots. In fact, you would be more suited to a hospital for the congenitally insane, if you ask me. In fact, if you want my candid opinion,
Glass of brandy. Wonderful idea, yes.
Gotcha. I'm asked because I occasionally make reference to religion. What religion my children have been brought up in. And I insist that they are brought up in my religion. That is, if they can ever find out which one it is. Do you know, for years I was convinced that God lived in the bathroom at home. Every morning my father would have got, bang on the door and say, "God, are you still in there?" We have in the Roman Catholic Church, we have various saints that we pray to for various reasons. And the saint that we pray to if we lose anything is St. Anthony. If we ever lose anything, we pray to St. Anthony. And when I was a child, I lost my bike. And I went to church, lit a candle, and prayed to St. Anthony to get my bike back. Went home, and about half an hour later, the police station rang and said the bike was at the police station, had been found. Went and collected the bike from the police station. Totally pleased, happy, joyful to get my bike back. And on the way back, I cycle past the church, and I think, just pop in, and a matter of courtesy, thank St. Anthony. And I go in, light another candle, say, "Thank you, St. Anthony," and I come out and the bloody bike's gone. A lot of people actually consider that heaven and hell are on two separate levels. They're not. They are side by side, divided by a fence, a wooden fence. And one day God was walking around heaven, and he started to inspect the fence, and it's fallen down. All bits and pieces fallen off it. Like, it is. Mr. Mistopheles! Nick! The devil comes out and he said, "What do you want?" I said, "The fence, look at it. Falling down. And the posts are on your side. This fence is your responsibility. When are you going to do something about it?" And the devil said, "Screw you." And God said, "Well, if you do not do something about this fence soon, you are going to hear from my solicitor." And the devil said, "Where are you going to find a solicitor?" When we were mulling around how I would introduce the various religious sketches that we've got this week, there was just no way I could think of an introduction. So what I thought, what I'll do is I'll take down the Bible, I shall leave it on the table, I'll go off, I'll have lunch, I'll come back, and I will open it at random. And God, who works in strange and mysterious ways, will inspire me to find some sort of introduction for these religious sketches from what I first read. And believe it or not, it worked. I opened the Bible, and there it said, "Joseph said unto his father, Not so, my father, for this is the firstborn. Put thy right hand on his head." Now that might appear to be a strange way to introduce religious sketches, but I am not going to argue with the boss. I now pronounce you man and wife. You may kiss the bride.
Tony.
I think the rest of us can go and have some photographs taken. Good morning, missus. Do you have a confession?
Oh, yes, good morning, Father. I'm terribly sorry I'm late. Oh, I'm a bit breathless, you see. I nearly missed the bus coming here. Well, I didn't mean to miss it. You know, my clock's wrong. Mind you, I mean, it's a pretty old clock. No, it's not.
Can I hear your confession, please?
Yes, well, I am. You see, I'm always late. Oh, Father, I'm always late for Mass. I do apologise. But that's why I went and got this clock, you see. I went and bought it, when was it, about last August? Yes, that's right, the last week of August, that's right. Well, we just got back from Clacton then, you see.
Madam, I'm not interested in Clacton or your clock. Can I hear your confession, please?
Yeah, well, you see, it's about that, you see, Father, because it was because of Clacton, because I took this Mr. Reppin out, you see. He's manager of our club. He goes and arranges our holidays at Bournemouth. No, Bolton, that's right, Bolton, every year. We were very, very sick of this, so we said, you know, could he find somewhere else? So I took him to the club to have a few drinks just to butter him up, you see. Well, naughty, wasn't it? But it worked like a little dream. So he said, all right, then we could go somewhere else. So he decided, I think, between him and his daughter, that's right, his daughter, that we could go to Clacton. Oh, you like his daughter, you know. She works at the Co-op. No, she used to work at the Co-op, that's right. She now works at the bank. Well, she had a very nasty country Tommy with his manager chap, you know, at the Co-op. Oh, well, I mean, he's not a nasty bloke, really. He doesn't mean it, but I've had a bit of a so-and-so with him myself, you know, all over the sales stuff. See, there was a pair of gloves, a sort of sludge green colour. It didn't go with my coat, you see. I wanted brown, nice brown gloves, you see, because it goes with a nice checkered new coat. I also got in the same, you see, because I don't believe in all that cruelty to animals. It's dreadful. No, this is quite artificial, you see. There was a programme, you know, about that on the television the other night. No, it wasn't last night. It was the night before, I believe. That's right. It wasn't last night. It was yes, it was. No, last night was the World War. That's right, I was in that. No. In the World War. No, that was the First World War. No, this was the Second World War they had on last night, because I used to help in the war, you know, in munitions. Yeah, well, I didn't help down in the trenches with all them poor little boys, you know, having a terrible time with the...
Next.
Oh, I know, but the war, it's a terrible thing, you know. I don't believe in all that butchery and all that nasty thing. Nothing to do with that butchery. Mark them,
Dirty postcards.
What?
Dirty postcards.
No.
Dirty postcards.
Oh, all right. What do you want?
We're rescued. Even worse, we could be marooned on a desert island. For years.
Did anybody else go to the fancy dress ball on the ship last night? According to Greek mythology, the god Zeus created woman to punish man. He created a woman called Pandora. He gave her two things. He gave her a box, which he told her never to open, and he gave her a curiosity, which he knew that she could not contain. He knew that eventually she would open the box and release upon the world all the ills and evils that have plagued us since. Tonight, I would like to tell you a true story that not only illustrates that the sin of curiosity still lies in a woman's bosom, but I would also illustrate with horrifying clarity that the power of the supernatural still exists. My story begins in Ireland, around the turn of the last century. A young man returned to his ancestral home with his bride. And for the first few weeks there, she busied herself getting to know her neighbors, the countryside, her servants, but above all, the house that was her home. It was a large, rambling type of house with nooks and crannies, long, endless corridors, interjoining staircases, She was quite happy exploring this house for hours upon hours, until eventually she thought she knew the house from cellar to attic. And when she thought that she knew the house from top to bottom, she discovered herself one day in the west wing in a corridor she had never seen before. On the wall of that corridor was a tapestry depicting the casting out of Lucifer from heaven. And behind the tapestry was a door, a locked door. She tried every key on her key ring, but to no avail. The door remained locked. She placed her ear against that door and thought that she heard sounds similar to the sobbing of a child. She asked her servants about the door, and all they would do would avert their eyes and say, "Ask the master." And that night at dinner, she did. She said, "What is the room? What is in there? Why is it locked?" A coldness came over her husband. He looked at her with eyes that were both angry and frightened. He said, "You must never, ever attempt to enter that room." And she said, "Why?" And he said, "I do not know. All I know is that in 400 years my family have lived here. Nobody has ever set foot in that room, and nobody will. Please do not bring up that subject again. Do not talk to me about the room or the door." The weeks passed, but she could not get rid of this thought of the door. She was intrigued with it. Her curiosity was aroused. The room was like a magnet. It drew her back time and time and time. She would stand in front of that door and wonder what was in there. And then fate smiled on her, or so it seemed. One day when she was placing some flowers upon an old dresser, she noticed a small recess. She put her hands in, and as she put her hand in, a small wooden lever moved underneath her exploring fingers. A panel, the back of the dresser, slid open, and there was a dust-covered key. She knew, without any doubt, that she had found the key to the locked door. Now, the chance for her curiosity to be satisfied. She waited, she waited, she waited. Until finally her husband was called away on business. He would not return until the following day. That night, she dismissed her servants early. She retired to her room and waited. And when she was sure that the house was completely still, with a smile of anticipation, she took the key from her pocket and, aided by the flickering lamp, ascended the darkness of the stairs, down the corridor, until as she last stood in front of that door which had intrigued her for so long. With beating heart, she put that key into the door, and a single hollow click, it opened, and the door slowly moved inwards. There was nothing in the room that she could see except an inky blackness. She took a step, another step, another step, until she found herself in the center of the room. She raised her lamp above her head, and as she did, the flame flickered and died. She was engulfed in this darkness. A darkness so heavy, so thick, it was almost physical. She screamed. It was the scream of a woman totally terrified. The scream of a woman who knew that she was about to be destroyed by her own curiosity. A woman screaming because she had finally found out what was in that room. And mingled with her own screams was another sound, a sound so obscene, so primeval, It defied definition. She looked over her shoulder only to hear the door slowly close, knowing that whatever escape she had was cut off. And as the door closed, it not only cut off her escape, it cut off her last fearful sobs. What made her scream? What evil was in that room? What supernatural force made that door close on its own? I have no idea, but if I ever find out, I'll let you know. Oh, you should have seen your faces there. There's nothing to fear about the hereafter. There really isn't. Because true love transcends all barriers. True love will pass by. True love will continue to live after death.
Heathcliff. Heathcliff.
Kathy?
Heathcliff.
Kathy! Kathy!
Heathcliff. Heathcliff.
Kathy?
Heathcliff. My darling. Goodbye.
Oh, Kathy. Oh.
Heathcliff. Heathcliff. Heathcliff.
Kathy?
Heathcliff.
Kathy?
Heathcliff.
Kathy!
All right, I'm coming.
Good night. Thank you. May your God go with you.